So we've just seen Alex Eala get through Coco Gauff in a retirement win, but...
And then we have a big challenger after this in big WTA.
Alexandra Eala is the name that everyone is talking about in the tennis world right now. The 20-year-old Filipino sensation completely dominated world number 4 and current Grand Slam champion Coco Gauff in one of the most spectacular outcomes at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells. Goff was forced to retire after just 54 minutes due to a left arm injury. G-Music had defeated Yala 6-0, 6-2 in Dubai just 17 days prior. However, the script was entirely changed today. Yala emerged with a strong sense of purpose, fearlessness, and music. Goff was unable to respond. Yala becomes the first Filipino player in Indian Wells history to advance to the round of 16 with this victory. And the world is finally taking notice of music. This chick is real, and she's just getting started. Let's stand back and give due respect to what transpired on that court on Sunday night. This wasn't your typical match. Alexandra Eala was placed just outside the top 30 in the world. Coco Gauff, music, one of the biggest names in the sport, a Grand Slam champion, a former world number 1 contender, and the face of American tennis, is up against a player who was ranked 140th in the world just a year ago. She dominated the match from the very first game, so I didn't merely win. At the end of the game, Yala had a 6-2-0 lead after just 54 minutes. Not even music was close in the first set. At this point in her career, Yala was surgical, aggressive off both wings, commanding rallies, moving Goff about the court, music, and converting her opportunities with the kind of accuracy you just don't expect from a player. The stadium's crowd and music were electrifying. Such a large and boisterous crowd for a match involving the 31st ranked player in the world is uncommon at Indian Wells or pretty music, much any tennis tournament. However, Alexandra Eala has become precisely that kind of phenomenon. Here's what makes this triumph even more delightful. Coco Gauff defeated Alexandra Eala 6-0, 6-2 in Dubai just 17 days ago. Yes, a double bagel. It was brutal. It was clinical. Additionally, it appeared to many viewers to be a reality music check for the young Filipino celebrity. However, what did Yala do following that defeat? She didn't conceal herself. She didn't fall apart. She declared in public that she would love to play golf once more after arriving at Indian Wells with her head held high. "I would love to play her again," Yala remarked. "She is a role model for a reason, in my opinion, and she is an amazing athlete and person. That's how a champion thinks." And she supported every single word of it on Sunday night. Eala returned to the practice courts a few days after her humiliation in Dubai, honing her skills, analyzing what went wrong, and getting ready to take on the same opponent using an entirely new strategy. The outcome was a performance that completely stunned the tennis community. You must respect the path that led Alexandra Eala to this point in order to completely appreciate how amazing this outcome is. She was ranked 140th in the world at this time last year. She is now barely outside of the top 30. That was one of the biggest increases in professional tennis in recent memory. Her breakthrough performance was in the 2025 Miami Open, where she spectacularly advanced to the semifinals. In the process, she defeated 3 former Grand Slam champions, including Iggy, who is currently ranked 2nd in the world for music. The tennis community paid attention. Eala didn't end there, though. She continued to climb, win, and prove herself against the tour's top players. With victories against Madison Keys and EGAT at Miami 2025, Yala currently has a 3-3 record against the top 5 opponents. She will play golf on Sunday. Take a moment to consider that. In less than a year on the WTA circuit at this level, 3 victories over the top 5 players worldwide. That is not a coincidence. That is not an anomaly. That is preparing for a talent meeting and a young woman who is adamantly refusing to let the biggest names in the sport intimidate her. Additionally, Yala became the first Filipino player to get to the Indian Music Wells round of 16 since the competition's founding. History was created. However, let's discuss something, music, that transcends tennis. Because Alexandra Eala is changing the sport rather than merely winning games. On Thursday, the tournament shared a day-in-the-life video featuring Yala, which has received 94,000 views. T is by far the most viewed YouTube video of the year. 9 women from Indian Wells class of 2026, 7 of the top 10 players, a well-known American, and IA were all featured on Instagram. Give that some thought. A player who isn't in the top 30 is featured with the world's top players because the competition recognizes her musical prowess. The young celebrity received a lot of support from the Filipino community in California. Practice courts were crowded with hundreds of admirers who came to watch her train. They cheered every single point as if their lives depended on it, stayed up late into the night, and endured the chilly desert. AIRTJ, a longtime Filipino sports journalist Manok, clarified that the lack of a fresh athlete for the Philippines to cheer on the global scene is the reason why Filipino fans are emerging. The next Manny Pacquiao has been eagerly anticipated by the nation. He claimed that music stopped life when he was at his best. Nothing is on the road when there is a conflict. Everyone is observing. And Alexandra Eala is rekindling that sentiment in the Philippines. Yala herself acknowledged this outpouring of support, stating that, "The Filipino people have such a strong sense of community, and I feel like when one of us does well, one of us is succeeding. That sense of pride is something we all share. Because of what I'm doing on tour, my friends will tell me that the courts are packed at home and that a lot of other things have happened that I didn't anticipate." She wasn't simply there to participate in Indian Wells. She became an inspiration to the country. And this is what really makes Alexandra Eala unique as a person, not merely as a tennis player. Most players would be rejoicing, boasting about themselves, and riding the wave of glory after a result like this, after music, destroying the world number 4, after creating history, and after proving herself after that defeat in Dubai. However, Yala, who is kind in both wins and losses, acknowledged International Women's Day and wished Goff well in her in-court interview. "I want to start by wishing everyone a happy Women's Day." She claimed that she celebrated something greater than herself by using a moment of personal success, music. That's what distinguishes a unique individual. Someone who is aware that her work goes well beyond a tennis court. Music. Despite all that she has accomplished, she is still eager, motivated, and modest. She's not going overboard. She is not discussing world rankings or grand slams. She is simply letting her racket do the talking and taking each match and day as it comes. What will happen to Alexandra Eala's music in Indian Wells next? Linda Noskova, who overcame a set deficit to defeat Sran Chera in less than 2.5 hours, will be her next opponent. The two will encounter for the first time in their careers. Noskova is a tall, formidable player with a powerful serve and an aggressive baseline style. It won't be simple, but nothing about Yala's journey has been simple either. Additionally, she has often demonstrated that she steps up to the plate when it counts most. There's no reason this run can't go far if she keeps playing like she did against Goff and music, incredibly deep. We are seeing something very historic take place in the California desert, ladies and gentlemen. The 20-year-old Filipino girl who dared to dream, Alexandra Eala, is already doing more than just competing in the greatest tennis competitions worldwide. She is controlling them. She defeated the second-ranked person in the world. She has now defeated the fourth-ranked music golfer in the world. She is the first Filipino to ever advance to Indian Wells round of 16. With a grin on her face, grace in her heart, and a nation of 110 million people cheering her on, she is accomplishing all of this. The tennis community has been warned. Alexandra is here and won't be leaving. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below if you think this video is great. Do you think Alex Eala will succeed in Indian Wells?